Okay guys, so I would have used this Froggy shirt that was being advertised when TSR was coming out, but I pretty much realized very quickly that with the coloration of this shirt and the usage of a green screen background, it kind of turns out like this. It doesn't look very good, but if I wanted, I could put some images behind the frog, like this, or even this. So unfortunately, I might have to switch out to a less awesome Sonic shirt, but a Sonic shirt nonetheless. Hey guys, I'm the Sega Scourge, and this is the reason why I can't be working on theory videos right now, because there's always something else I need to make a video for. This one being Team Sonic Racing. This is the impromptu review video of it, pre-release, post-release, whatever you want to call it. It's just come out. I'm not used to doing game review style videos, so don't expect something spectacularly professional from this video. I'm pretty much just noting down all the little things about the game that I liked and that I enjoyed, or things I didn't like, or pros and cons. So this, if you want to go elsewhere for like a super professional review video for this game, that's fine, you're not going to find that here. But I have so much faith in my own channel. Thanks to Sega and Dead Good Media, I was sent an early review code for the PS4 version of the game on Friday 17th. Me and my girlfriend, who is off camera right now, say hi, say something. Stop taping stuff to your face and say something. We've been playing the game non-stop over the weekend, just trying to get a really good, genuine first reactions of the game. Not stilted in any way by anyone else's opinions. And obviously I wanted to get the first-hand reaction to compare it to other Sonic racing games of the past. Not only that, this has allowed me to get two perspectives on the game. One from myself, being like a veteran Sonic fan, and the other being from someone who hasn't played a whole lot of Sonic and can actually say, unbiasedly, is it a good game? So with all the notes that we've compiled for TSR, let me break it down in this video for you and let you know what I thought, what we thought of the game. Just to note, we haven't in any way anywhere near beat the game yet. There's a lot of content in the game. We've only scratched the surface. Probably got like 1/12 in of the game. Just our first-hand reactions. This is how we judge the game. I can't speak, Fiona. As it says in the title, there'll be a giveaway in this video. I will be giving away a free Steam PC version of Team Sonic Racing to one lucky viewer. So stay tuned for later in the video on how to enter that and have a chance to win that for yourself. But without further ado, let's move on. Team Sonic Racing, developed by Sumo Digital, is not only an amazing love letter to long-time Sonic the Hedgehog fans, but also an extremely fun, addicting, and multifaceted arcade-style experience. It captures the essence of speed and action Sonic has come to be known for, but while also blending with it a whole host of competitive elements to the races that are guaranteed to keep you and your opponent/friends on the edge of your seats. I have all these notes on like things I want to talk about, but I'm feeling like I should just wing it. I don't know what to talk about first, but I feel like graphics might be a very simple one to start with, and then I can move into everything else, like the content, the gameplay. Graphically, being that obviously this is the next generation consoles, it's taken a huge step up from the previous Sonic racing games, being the All-Stars games. All the courses are very vibrant and lush and full of things going on, which meant that when playing it was very easy to get distracted by the backgrounds of the race courses, because there's just so much going on. I can count at least 3 times where I was busy staring at something in the race course itself, some environmental set piece, that made me just drive into a wall or off a cliff or something. So whether that's good or bad, I don't know, but graphically it's very impressive, it's very nice to look at, and the scenery adds to the pumping feel of the races themselves. Character models in the vehicles, that's something I was wondering how they were going to handle this one, because kind of an unpopular opinion here, some of the character models in All-Stars Racing and All-Stars Racing Transformed priorly, they kind of looked like ventriloquist dummies from time to time. They would kind of just rag and flip all over the place for no reason. They don't do that so much in this game. The movement looks a lot more fluid. The models have been, I guess, rigged and animated really nicely. So they fixed that one. These are all just little things I noticed graphically. There's not really too much I can say on graphics, because I'm not one who really cares too much about game graphics. It just looks really nice to me. So I'll move on to stuff like content and gameplay. Considering this video has absolutely zero structure, I'm just going to kind of talk about things off the top of my head rather than kind of try and segment it down into different bits. One thing I really was interested in when this game was coming out was the implementation of team mechanics and how they would work. That's actually the whole point of the game. There are solo modes available, free-for-all races without the use of team play, but the team aspect is where the game shines. I was very worried when it was coming out that it was going to be this really annoying shoe-in thing, but I'm happy to report that I think it's a lot more intuitive and rewarding than people kind of gave it credit for in the beginning. It had like a lot of a bad rep and everyone was saying, no, we only want solo races, we want one-on-one races. I found myself playing much more of the team races than just solo one-on-one races. In a team race, there are of course 3 players per team made up of among the 15 characters available to choose from, and during each race, each team strives to work together through the use of various team actions. There's the skim boost, which activates when a teammate passes you. You can gain a small boost to keep your speed up. There's the slingshot, which allows other struggling members of your team to kind of ride along your slipstream and overtake. There's an item transfer system, which is incredibly clever, whereby you can pass any wisp items you're holding to other players that may need them more in the situation they're in, and vice versa. You can also gain points performing rescues, saving your teammates, by knocking out opponents, giving them hassle. And then, of course, there are the team ultimates, which are insane boosts for your entire team to blaze past the competition. Team ultimates they're no all-star moves, let's put it that way. But on one hand, they're not as flashy as the all-star moves, but I feel like they're more rewarding in a sense, because like, as opposed to the all-star moves in the prior games, where it was just an item box, basically, you didn't earn it whatsoever. You could be in 4th and just get it, and then there you go, now you're in 1st because you got the all-star. But this one works on a meter, which is obviously all based around the team racing aspect, whereas you gain more points for performing team actions. Good team, wholesome team actions, like sharing items between each other or riding off of each other, slingshots and so on. And so working together, you build the meter. And when the meter's full, you press triangle for PS4, I guess, and everyone does the team ultimate. In that sense, it feels a little bit more rewarding for working together, because it's like you earned this, and you could tactically time when you get the team ultimate too. You don't have to use it right away. You could just hold on to it for a moment where you really need it, or you could build the meter in a certain juncture towards like the end of lap 3, so you're going to have the team ultimate. So it's a lot more strategic than the all-star moves. And that's why I think I actually kind of prefer it a little bit. It's more satisfying to execute than the all-star moves were. Bear in mind, the team ultimates are, when we played it, they are a little bit, there are certain moments where they do improve the controls. Like you can make very sharp turns that you otherwise would need to drift and things by using team ultimate. That's fine, but there were moments where it was a little bit too fast, and it was always when I was going off of a jump or something, you can actually go so far that you can just leave the boundaries of the stage completely. You can smash into walls very easily on certain turns, so it's kind of a double-edged sword. You have to use it at a place where it's not going to botch everybody on the team simultaneously. It's not really about you beating your fellow team members so much as it is using teamwork and cooperation to gain bonus points, and it doesn't matter who finishes in what position. It's just a matter of staying together, earning as many team points as you can, and then overall at the end of the game, it just tallies up who did the best in terms of teamwork. All of these different factors add to the points, and that you could win by being in like 8th place on your team, and your team would still win. That's what I think's intriguing about the game, because it rewards good team play, less than just kind of shooting ahead of everyone else. If you shoot ahead of everyone else and you don't work together with your team in a team race, you're not going to win. So online, that's going to be the kind of the turning point element, where it's going to be a matter of having good communication and good team skills and not being a total douchebag in the races like me in some of the races. Bear in mind, at the point of this recording, I haven't tried the online mode yet. We haven't had online capability here, so I don't know how the team aspect is going to work online, but I imagine it's going to make the game a lot more interesting and intense, with everyone striving to unite on a race and utilize their specific character abilities and items in a way that benefits the entire team. On the topic of items, this game has the wisps, of course, return as in-race power-ups used to attack the opponents. This is the one game for a while where I felt like, okay, this They suit being in this game. The Wisps have been kind of shooed into different games, like Lost World, like Forces. This game, I saw them and I went, you know what, the Wisps works. Because you could have had just generic item pickups from different things in Sonic, but there wouldn't have been a lot to work with, and the Wisps are very creatively used in this game. Some of my personal favorites being like Void, which creates like a huge vortex around you, which not only sucks up item boxes by like the multiple, like you can just kind of skim by the item boxes with Void, and it'll take like 4 with you and mess everyone up behind you. You can take rings from other players. It will obviously damage them the closer they get. Spikes, which has like rotating balls of spikes whenever anyone gets near, they just get instantly knocked away. There's a few pity items in the game. If you're far enough away, you get Drill, which works basically the same as a Bullet Bill from Mario Kart 8, where it just sort of automatically shoots you a little bit, gives you a little bit of extra ground. There's Quake, which functions exactly like, what were they called? The Hornets from Team Transform. They were Sky Tigers or something like that. It would shoot right in front of the player in the lead, the first player in first, and it would kind of block their path with all the Hornets in Transformed, if you guys remember that. Quake works exactly like that, where it kind of just summons pillars of rock in front of whoever's in first, and they just get completely destroyed, and then any of the players following them. There's Lightning, which I think affects everyone except for the player who used it, just kind of shoots everyone with lightning. There's Rhythm, which was very creatively used Rhythm. I did not expect Rhythm to be in the game. But Rhythm just blocks the screen with musical notes. There were a few that were missing that I would have liked to see. I would have loved to see how Frenzy would have been used. I would have loved to see how Asteroid, that's another one that could have been used. We know most of them that are in the game. A lot of them actually were pulled from, a lot of the main ones were like Bomb and things were pulled from Lost World, and Rocket, which functions as expected. Eagle, which is a homing shot. I'm just going on and on about Wisps at this point because I think they're kind of cool. It's the first game in a while where I think the Wisps are really cool and creatively used. There is one new addition, Wisp-wise, to this game, being the Jade Ghost Wisp, which was a huge savior in certain parts of the match because it makes you virtually invulnerable to anything, whether it be team ultimates, stage hazards, anything. I think other players actually phase right through you when you're using the Ghost Wisp. But the Ghost Wisp saved my bacon on multiple occasions, and it was usually in an occasion where I was just in a complete zone of danger and didn't have a really good item. It would get me through that zone, and then, much like the Boo Wisp in Mario Kart, it would take an enemy player's Wisp and give it back to me, which would allow me to then, once I'm in a better position, use that Wisp effectively and gain more ground. The Ghost Wisp is a really cool addition to this game. As for how the game controls and what the characters can do, you of course have access to the drift for sharp turns, gaining miniature boosts, and the trick system for when leaving a ramp and going into midair. You can flick various directions on the analog stick and earn a number of boosts based on the amount of tricks you performed in the air. They're both pulled from All Stars Racing, but in this game they're polished superbly and they feel a lot more precise and snappy to use. But they're pretty much the same from the previous All Stars Racing games, except the biggest notable change is the handling of character vehicles. Whereas in Transformed, every single character and every single vehicle felt very floaty, and there was no actual like unique handling to each vehicle. That's how the prior All Stars Transform was. This game's taken it a little bit back to the first Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing, I think, in my opinion, but they've tweaked it and they've kind of given their own spin on it. Firstly, characters are broken up into different types and categories. There is speed, technique, and power characters. I guess they couldn't do flight, because just having the car fly over the stage would be a little bit kind of cheating. Power type characters, they can pretty much just smash through any stage hazards and just bulldoze through secret passages, and they're the heavy characters basically. Technique characters, which are my personal favorite, they can keep traction over any difficult terrain, like mud or water or lava in one of the stages, ice, things like that. They keep their traction and they keep their speed going, whereas other cars would slow down, which is a little bit crazily broken. It's my personal favorite type to use, because you can kind of just cheat the stage by leaving the racetrack entirely and just taking a huge shortcut. It's pretty ridiculous what the technique characters can do. And lastly, there is speed. Speed characters are pretty much what it says on the tin. They're based on speed, very fast, very high acceleration. They also have this little energy wave activated when boosting that can act similarly to an insta-shield, blocking oncoming projectiles like a rocket wisp if used in the right moment. These are all just little specific attributes that help break up each character into different types and categories, whereas previous All-Stars Racing games, as I said, they didn't really have... Every character just felt like a skin, but the characters in this game each have their own abilities, and it makes them feel a lot more individual. Aside from character-specific types, there are... Each character and vehicle has its own set of stats, so there's things like handling and weight and acceleration and stuff. And this adds not only a dynamic of having players master each character that they haven't used before so they can get a feel for which one they like, but it also allows you to kind of customize your experience because each of the stats can be impacted heavily over in the garage, or garage, or however the hell you say it, because I live in the UK and we say garage, but some people say garage. And this is a stupid tangent. The garage is a cool way for players to trick out their ride of choice or tailor their experience by allowing them to refashion the character cars with an assortment of assignable parts, like wheels, spoilers, hoods, and more. Each added part changing the dynamics of how the car handles. Some detracting from one stat, but greatly boosting another, so it's important to strike the balance that's specific to you. Then, you can show off even more by giving your car a new paint job from a selection of color schemes. You can even choose the type of paint finish you want for your color, anything from metallic to this super reflective looking one. And yes, of course, I did make several disgustingly green looking cars just to satisfy my craving to do so. You can alter the neon glow of the car, you can add overlay vinyls and little patterns to it. You can even put on like a novelty horn, so if you've ever wanted to flex on your opponents with the sound of casual bongos, you can do that. The option is there. As you can see, a lot of these horns are still locked, as with all the paints and the custom parts for each vehicle. New parts and extras are unlocked through this thing called mod pods. As you race or complete missions, you earn credits. These credits can then be spent in this section. It's basically a lucky dip, a big capsule vending machine for add-ons to character cars. And considering it's only 10 credits a piece to do something in the mod pods, it's not exactly you're breaking the bank. I find it very addicting. It's very easy to just kind of keep inserting credits. You know, if you don't get it the first time, try again. I mean, you could just keep doing it all day, really. Even if you don't get something you like, you can just keep doing it. I don't have a problem. I'm not addicted. I don't consider myself an addicted person. I mean, you win either way, right? You could just keep pressing the button, because it's pretty satisfying and it makes a nice noise.
The capacity to be honest with yourself, admit that you have a problem, seek help, and get and stay connected with people who support you.
Psst. Oh hey. So about that giveaway. If you'd like the chance to win a free Steam PC code for TSR, here's a few steps to do so. 1. Make sure you're a subscriber to my channel. 2. Go follow me over on Twitter at SuperScourge300, link will be in the description. 3. Leave a like on this video, and lastly, 4. Comment below anything you like, but include the hashtag ModPodsGamblingAddiction. If you follow all these steps, you'll be entered, and 3 days from now, I'll randomly select a winner and contact them through DMs with their free TSR code. Good luck! Okay. On the topic of other modes available to you besides the hugely addicting mod pods, there are various other online and offline modes with 4-player split screen also available. There's Grand Prix mode, which has players compete across 4 races and 4 tracks total for an overall score at the end. There's Exhibition mode, which allows players to custom make their rule set the number of teams in a team race, or play singly. We had plenty of crazy split-screen games in this one. It's very cool to play with friends. There's also Time Trial, which is single-player only, which has players compete against a ghost player in an effort to beat their own best times, or the default ones. And let me tell you, the Platinum Ghost is really hard to beat. I spent ages trying to outrun the one on Clockwork Pyramid. I gave it my best attempt with every trick I'd learned thus far, but I barely scraped gold. So it's an extremely skill-testing challenge. Oh, and lastly, for the modes, there's the Team Adventure mode. Just to quickly talk about like the main mode of the game, the story mode, the Adventure mode as it's called. I don't want to ruin too much of it, not like it's got this super integral story to begin with anyway. It basically revolves around this new character called Dodonpa, who is like a beyond space and time scientific genius who has made all these cars for the different characters, and he's made this gigantic race course which appears to be all on Planet Wisp, unless I'm mistaken, unless that he's like making the characters just travel to different dimensions and different locations. I'm probably reading way too much into it. It is just a racing game after all, so it doesn't have to have this super lore-based story. Although, on the topic of the story, obviously because adventure mode is broken up into like a little mini-map overworld where you go to each specific mission, you can do all different types of challenges, like ring challenges and daredevil drift challenges and survival races. Besides all of that, obviously there is overarching story. With the story in the adventure mode, I just want to throw this out there to people, because I screwed this up the first time. On the menu, when you select each mission, logic suggests you just kind of press X if you're on PS4 and you'd select the mission and on you go with the game. We got about 6 missions in adventure mode before we realized that there is a second prompt right at the bottom of the screen in little text which says press square to begin stage with story. Bear that in mind, people who are going to play. It's very easy to skip the story. It took us like 6 missions in to realize that we hadn't seen any story cutscenes up until that point, and we'd nearly cleared the entire first level map before we moved on to the next area. It's so hidden and so out of the way, my eyes didn't even see it. So I understand what they're doing. They want the story to take a backseat to the main actual game, which is the right thing to do, because it shouldn't be the story that speaks for the game, it should be the gameplay, which is of course all very solid. And any of these little nitpicks I have, they don't detract from the game in any huge way. The game is great. The game is extremely fun to play, and I've been looking forward to playing it for ages now, and I'm finally glad I got to. The problems do not in any way outweigh the positives in this game. I would recommend this game to anyone. Anyone, not even a Sonic fan, it's just overall a good kart racer. I've seen all the reviews from mainstream websites flowing in, which is all 8s and 9s and things, which is very good, because I thought that this would kind of just fly under the radar as a little bonus party game by Sega. But no, it's been very well developed. I'm not going to talk about the music, because it's obvious the music's going to be awesome. It's a Sonic game, the music's always cool, and they've got Jun Senoi, and they've got, Crush 40, and everyone's back. I'm not going to mention that, because most of the soundtrack was already leaked. I don't need to talk about it. Overall, though, without spoiling like all the little specifics of the game, all the stages and everything that's to come in the story mode, I'll just leave it at, the game is great. I really enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and no doubt I'm going to be playing it a lot more now when I ultimately get it on PC as well, and I join up with all my online friends and we see how it fares online. Because with the chaotic nature of the races that me and my girlfriend had, just offline, and that's just with AI, it's very easy for, like, you start the race and all the characters kind of just clump together and you get sandwiched in. It's very congested in some of these matches. The huge amount of races and all the team aspect racing in the game, just because of the wider area, it feels way more open, but it's so easy to kind of get sandwiched in and smashed all over the place by the other players. So I can only imagine how completely insane and chaotic that's going to be online. So I'm really looking forward to that. Character AI is pretty reasonable. I was worried about character AI with this game because it's obviously based around teamwork and cooperation, and I thought, man, if you're going to have to be in a team with 2 AIs, they're going to screw you over, but it's surprisingly good. Obviously, you could set the AI to different levels of difficulty, ranging from normal to hard to, I think, expert. It's not as broken as I thought it would be. There were a few times where, like, I was in a team race and like one of the AI characters, I'd be following their slingshot slipstream and they'd just kind of lead me off a cliff or something. But overall, it's very precise and well programmed. The game does a great job of easing players into all the features and everything there is to digest with the help of tutorials and on-screen prompts. I feel that the game is very accommodating to new players, like people who haven't specifically played things like the previous Sonic and All-Stars racing games. My girlfriend, who obviously hasn't played any of those, it was a little bit overwhelming, the first few games we had for her. Like, she didn't quite get the grasp of it from the beginning. But by like the second game she was kicking ass. And it's a very easy to pick up and play kind of game. And I think that's why it's going to bring in like a wide array of people and audience, not just specifically Sonic fans. But obviously the game is just full of fan servers. I won't go into like each level specific thing that I noticed. Obviously all the levels some of them are based on pre-existing games, some of them are new. Some of them are existing levels from old games but reworked in a new fashion, blended with others, if that makes sense. One noteworthy one that I'll just throw out there, one of my personal favorites, is Sky Road, which I think was partially inspired by like Sky Road from Sonic Lost World, but it's basically Market Street, but you're in the sky. So it's all those balloons and blimps and things you remember from Sonic Generations, except you're just bouncing and pirouetting in the sky on each balloon over to different parts of the race course. It's not just little straight line circle race courses. They get completely crazy and out of control, and you really have to bring your A game because it's very easy to just fly off the course on some of these parts or get left in the dust. You really have to be focusing. The team racing aspects are really cool. Even on split screen, we were really kind of chewing up the AI, because with good cooperation on the team racing, you can do some amazing things. And you can pretty much demolish all the opposition, and that was just with the split screen. The split screen aspect racing was pretty good. Local play is fine. Again, I just really need to get on to trying it online now, because that's probably going to be the most mental part of the game, is playing online with a whole group of different teams of online players. Then it's going to get really out of control. Because if it was that out of control and insane with just AI on things like hard mode, I can't imagine what it's going to be like online. Obviously, big thanks again to Dead Good Media and Sega for sending me the early review copy of the game. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm going to be playing it a lot more now. Anyway, overall, it's a great game. Go play it. No. The game is very good. I don't want to have to give it a score. This isn't like a review channel. I don't want to have to give it a, 9 out of 10. I just want to say it's a great game, and if you're a Sonic fan, you're probably going to really enjoy it. And with a group of players, it's going to be a lot of fun. And even for non-Sonic fans, it's a really fun game. So let the reviews online speak for themselves. They know what they're talking about for once. Oh, and if you're looking for the giveaway, if you've just skipped all the way to the end of this video, then you've missed it. It's earlier in the video. I think you can get away just skipping through the whole video to get to the giveaway. So go a little bit back and you'll find it. I've been the Sega Scourge. Thank you so much for watching this really terrible review of the game. And I will see you next time in an actually well-structured video. Goodbye.